I want to give an update as to where I am with astral projection and the last video that I made. I talked about an experience that I've had several times already. I've had it maybe like 12 times or so. I was trying to figure out ways to move forward and have the experience. So I'll just link that video in the description box. So I don't have to go into, like, it has all the details of like what it is I experience. Just generally, I wake up, it's nighttime, I wake up from sleep, I'm completely awake, and I'm going through what seems to be the vibrational state. So it's like a buzzing, like a bee buzzing. It's my energy body, but it feels like my physical body too, because I feel like the energy body and the physical body, sometimes they feel so similar. It's kind of hard to distinguish, but I can feel that it's my energy body, because when I've completely gotten up, checked my pulse, and done other things, I find that it isn't my physical body, that it couldn't have been. So it's this like revving and these like this other feeling, and it feels like I'm going to leave my body, and it feels like there's something outside of the house, generally in a particular location, like from the window to the sliding glass door, there's like a certain corner, it's like a southeast corner, and it feels like I'm going to first off go somewhere that's not here. So it feels like I'm going to die, from what I understand dying is. And it feels like there's an intelligent being that is there, that I may encounter. There are a lot of unknowns there. And I've been trying to think, like, how can I move forward with this experience so that I can see what's going on? Every time it has happened, I've not gone forth and like had the experience. I have stopped myself. I've shaken, like start moving my body so that I can wake up more, so that I can avoid it. I've done different things so that I don't go through with the experience. But I want to go through with the experience. It's just that I'm hesitating because I'm intimidated. And every time it feels like I'm not prepared. Like, oh, what? I didn't plan on this. Like this night, I don't feel prepared. What is that? And there are all these unknowns. Like, where am I going to go? How long am I going to be there for? What's this intelligent being feels like I'm going to encounter an intelligent being about? Non-physical intelligent being. So there are all these things that are there that have been keeping me from having, where I think about and then I don't want to have the experience. I thought about, well, what could I do? And I thought about having someone that could possibly go with me. Like if I could call someone while I'm in that state, and their spirit, their soul, their energy body can respond to me, then that would be really helpful. Or if there's a possibility that that could happen. I thought about it, and then I thought, well, why don't I mean, I guess it would be like a spirit guide. Except I don't detect a spirit guide. And I'm not saying that I don't have guidance. I just have absolutely no detection. I've never detected a spirit guide. Maybe the spirit guide doesn't, like, I don't sense it because maybe I wouldn't like to sense the spirit guide. I have things that what I sense is my unconscious mind. My unconscious mind can see into the past and see into the future and see things and guide me. So it's an aspect of myself, that I can describe as intuition and other things. But I've never felt a separate entity, an entity that feels separate from myself, like it's separate consciousness that guides me. So I'm like, well, I can't call on a spirit guide because I may have a spirit guide, but I don't feel connected. I don't feel like it's that kind of thing. I did a meditation once where, meet your spirit guide and all that. It was actually non-human. Like when I think about it now after the experience, like, wow, that was something. But just day to day and like in dreams, different places, like I don't detect a spirit guide. Another thing I've never detected is a cord, where people describe there's like a silver cord or there's some sort of cord that connects the astral body to the physical body. I know that I'm anchored to my body and my physical body. I know that I'm anchored here. But nowhere have I detected any sort of anchor, like any sort of cord of any kinds. When I'm lucid dreaming, where it's astral projection, but I can feel clearly that there is an anchor and that I am brought back here. I was hanging out with my teacher yesterday, and I know I refer to him as my teacher. We're good friends. And, but he taught me how to meditate, and he taught me a lot of things. And so when I think of him, sometimes I think of him as a teacher. So he doesn't like hold the title of teacher around me. He's very casual and friendly and everything, but I learn a lot from him. And so that's why I referred him as my teacher. I told him about the experience. I want to absolutely have the experience. I would like to go forth and have this experience, but I'm intimidated. And I was thinking and I told him about what I think about the whole spirit guide thing. How I'm like, I can't call a spirit guide. That's not going to encourage me because where's the spirit guide? How come I can never feel a spirit guide? So then he said, sometimes when people meditate, they get to a point in meditation where if they meditate a little bit longer, they feel like they're going to leave, like they're going to go somewhere else, and they get scared and they don't go. And they come out of meditation. And I said, well, that never really happens to me in meditation. I've come close to astral projecting a couple times during meditation, but I have to meditate for 2 hours for that to happen. I normally don't meditate for 2 hours. It was just after my first astral projection experience, I had some pretty long meditation sessions. I find it's a lot easier to get in those states when I wake up from sleep. So I stopped doing those longer meditations because I realized, well, when I wake up out of sleep, it happens what seems like seconds and it'll happen instead of meditating for 2 hours. But when I do meditate, it's usually from 30 minutes to about an hour. I said, yeah, but that doesn't happen to when I meditate, this is happening when I'm asleep. He's like, but you're meditating when you're sleeping. That's what I realized. I've known that that's what happens is because I'm meditating when I'm awake. And it's so similar to sleep, except I'm awake when I'm in that rested state, that really calm, relaxed, meditative state. When I'm sleeping, it's very similar to that. And my mind wakes up. My guess from because I figure okay, this is happening to me now. So there's something about where I am now that has led me here, or that I'm here because of whatever up until now in me. And this is clearly something that I want to experience. And then I just told him, I'm like, hey, do you think if I call on you or would you be able to show up? Because I know he can do that. I know there have been times it's with 100% accuracy. And where if I call his name pretty intensely, and this is not a phone call or text message, just in my mind, within seconds, he'll send a text and go, did you call? Are you calling me? So I know that he can do that because it's been 100% accurate. He's never said, hey, are you calling me? And I'm not. And I can think, I'll imagine things. I can imagine a really specific cartoon or complex dance movement or different kinds of things of that range in complexity. And he can describe them in detail as if he's seeing it too. So I know he has the ability. And there was one time I was in a nightmare and I was trying to get out of it. And so I called his name and he was awake and he texted me, are you calling me? And he's not saying, are you calling me on the phone? And did you send me a text message? He's saying, are you calling me? And that's the sound of the text message woke me up and I was like, oh my goodness, I was calling you. And I told him I was dreaming. And so I know he can do that. And I told him, I'm so if I do that, I'm you don't have to go. But I mean, he sounded yeah, we can, and, but I said, just the possibility, just knowing that there's someone that could possibly accompany me, just the fact that there's that possibility, that would be encouraging to me. I would be much more likely to move forward and just feel comfortable moving forward to see what this experience is, this pending experience. I'm guessing if it is an entryway into another realm, there's probably some sort of guardian at the entry point. That may be what that intelligent, it feels non-human. I can't tell if it's a human feeling. It's non-physical. I actually have thought about well, what if I get up out of bed and shine a flashlight outside to see if I see anything. I've thought about that and I don't know if I would do that. I would like to just go forth into the experience. It's really what I want to do. If I decide not to go through the experience, if for some reason I back out again, then maybe I'll try to shine a flashlight or something. I don't know. I think it's non-physical though, so I don't think I'm going to detect it. My energy body would probably be able to see things and experience and stuff, but me and my physical body, perhaps there are edits, my brain will our brains edit out a bunch of stuff, and I don't know if I'd be able to perceive it in my physical body. So I put myself in a mindset of like calling out to my teacher and then just going forth and being like, oh, well, his energy body, his consciousness might be with me. So because there's a very real possibility that might be the case, then I'm going to go forward and see what's going on. So I just said, I'm like, what do you think about this? Like, can you give me any feedback? And he said, because he doesn't there's things that he's taught me and there's things that he'll say, but it's like, he kind of speaks in parables, and he he doesn't want to shape my experience. My experience is my experience, and he doesn't want to impose on that. So he's got this very free, open way that I sometimes wish, can you just tell me directly? I want to know. But, yeah, he just kind of has there's this free feeling. So I asked for feedback. I'm like, so what is, and he said, well, it sounds like, you are in a place, where you want to experience other realms and where you're going to experience them in that way. And that I do understand that when I'm asleep, I do start meditating when I'm asleep. And when I wake up, it's that's the thing is well, I guess it's that waking consciousness that kicks in, because in meditation, you're conscious the whole time as your body is practically falling asleep. And at some point it does actually start falling asleep, and then that's where stuff really happens. So in this case, my body falls asleep, my consciousness is not there, but then all of a sudden my consciousness kicks in, and so then I can go forward. So it's just in a different order, I guess. I'm hoping that I have this experience again soon, that I have the opportunity soon. I am so grateful that that's the other thing. I know I've been hesitating, but it's such a gift, to even come this far with meditation, astral projection. I didn't even know initially that that's what meditation was. And, I just, in my own experience, started experiencing different things in, meditation. I didn't know it would take me to this place. It's so much more than I ever imagined life to be. So I'm so grateful. Because, I was thinking it's intimidating, and I don't want to be scared, and about this experience, and what's making me hesitate and all that. And then I started thinking I feel so grateful. Even if it was something that scared me, let's say I wasn't ready, I went forth, whatever, and it was something scary, even that is a gift, either way, it's a gift, because wow, to show me that aspect of, existence is a great gift. So, I've kind of it's just gratitude just started coming to me, recently, after this last time. And as I was trying to figure out how can I plan and what can I do to feel comfortable and move forth in this experience when it happens again, because no matter what, I know I'm going to feel I'm not ready, because every single time I've felt that way. Every single time I found myself in that experience where I wake up and everything's buzzing, and there's this feeling that feels it's going to take me, I'm going to leave, and there's this being, and who knows where I'm going. I never feel I'm ready. I always feel wait, tonight I didn't plan on it. I'd like to have a little more preparation, ahead of time before I fall asleep. There's always some kind of something. So I'm going to assume that I'm going to feel that way again. And I'm going to call my teacher, and then start feeling grateful for the experience. Really, just focus on that. And I think that energy will be good to carry me forth. And I know my body's going to fall asleep, because it does wake up during that time. And then, it's going to fall asleep again, but I'm going to stay awake, and I'm going to go somewhere. And I'm okay not knowing exactly where it is. And I think that being is probably some sort of guardian of a realm. And so I'm just going to see what happens, what that is. Maybe it's not, maybe it's something else, but that's kind of where I'm kind of wondering and thinking. And even if it is something scary instead or whatever, then it is. And then I'll be whatever. I'll try not to feel afraid, and then I'll still be grateful for the experience. I think I've thought about it in a way where I feel good about it, and hopefully the next time I find myself there, hopefully soon, because it's spring break now, and that's spring break from work. You know, I can just have that experience again and go for it and see what it is. Oh my goodness. Feels like I'm going to leave. It's some sort of portal somewhere else. I have no idea what realm that is. I know there are many realms. There are many different steps to the Pyramid of Dreams, you know, and I know how I feel. There's like a general sort of this way about how I feel about existence and the things I would like to know, and, you know, what it is I'm doing here. Sometimes I know why I'm here, and other times I have no idea. Like, there's layers to that. I'm here for certain things, and I've figured out enough of it to where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm good with that. That's why I'm here. I will continue to do that. And yes, there are other things, like bigger pictures, where I don't know, you know, and where it's like, well, ultimately, you know, there's still a why there. So I would like to learn more about this place. I would like to learn more about other realms, and hopefully this will bring more understanding. So yeah. And like, I know I talk about like the times that I've talked about like, oh, I haven't gone forth. Like, I'm still super grateful that I've had the opportunity, the times that I have. And even though I hadn't taken the opportunity to go forth in such an awake state, does not mean that I am not extremely grateful. And I do feel like I hope it happens again. I hope it continues to happen. Maybe I should go in and kind of look a little bit more about different realms. I'm going to review some information just so that I can kind of, I've thought about different things and like what I would want to do, or what I would want to see in different realms, and like why, you know, like what purpose. So hopefully I can be in the state of gratitude, and I can feel encouraged, you know, with the support of being able to call my teacher, and because I don't want to like not know what to do, you know, like start experiencing something and then not know like what do I do, you know. So I've just been thinking about different realms and like what I would want to do in different realms, or what kinds of questions, like if I'm allowed to ask questions to this, like if it's a guardian or it's like some other being or like whatever, like what kinds of questions would I want to ask, you know, stuff that I don't know that I want to know, you know, and like just the fact that I'd be able to possibly ask a question. I mean, maybe I'm not going to be allowed to ask a question. Maybe I'm not going to get an answer. I don't know, but I still like have been thinking of questions, you know, in the event that the opportunity presents itself. That's where I'm at. I really hope I get the opportunity again soon.